Hello, or welcome back to my channel. I am, as I always seem to be doing at the moment, going around sheep and oh no, Ralph's scared of Nala in the background. Going around sheep. This time I'm bringing them up, ready to put them through our handling system to shed off the lambs, ready to take to market. We've got low 30s of lambs to take, and this definitely will be our last draw of spring lambs before weaning. The rest of the lambs will stay here. They'll be weaned from their mothers, and then we'll sell them basically when the price is right. They're not good enough to be spring lambs, so we'll wait and either sell them as stores for somebody else to fatten up and grow, or later on into market straight for the abattoir. I've talked before about the mixed emotions of sending our lambs to market, but the fact that ultimately that's the only reason we have them on the farm. Today though, I do feel quite sad because Major and Pinky, two of my pet lambs, are ready to go to market. If you've watched any of my other videos or followed through since lambing, you'd have seen how much time and effort we've put into looking after them, bottle feeding them. I guess ultimately it is a credit to us looking after them, in that they've done really, really well, and you wouldn't be able to tell them apart from the other lambs which have been raised by mothers. But yeah, a bit of a sad day. This year we did lamb more sheep, therefore have more lambs, and obviously inevitably we'd get more away to market in total, but compared to last year we've relatively got a lot more away as spring lambs, and so have fewer to keep feeding at this stage, which is a really good thing, and hopefully we've sold them at the right time and the right price, well, to try and make as much of a margin as we can on them. The lambs have just been through the ring. We sold 35. We averaged £166 a head, which at this time of year really, really pleased with. Cannot complain at all. We'll have to be doing our sums to see what sort of margin that's made us. As I said though, really sad day that Pinky and Major are away, but it's exactly why we rear them, and if we didn't do that we wouldn't have them. Just going to get sorted and head back home, be about an hour and a half back to the farm, and then be ready to get up early in the morning, ready to head down to Kent for the Kent show. So another busy couple of days. We have just arrived at the Kent show. We've had a bit of a palaver driving in, but it has meant we're doing a driving tour of the showground, so we might know where we're going for later. Just walking to, not quite sure where, for the breakfast meeting that Lizzie and I are speaking at. So very excited to speak, and then, well, we've got as much of the day as we want to enjoy the show then afterwards, and head back to Yorkshire this evening or this afternoon. Well, we have just finished our talk and I think it went pretty well, trying to touch on everything: social media, sustainability, the podcast, how we got there, and yeah, really, really enjoyed it.
I think it's incredible the reception that we had. We've had people coming up afterwards saying how great it was, people stopping us around the shore, people wanting to take pictures because they've seen us on social media. I think it's
amazing,
and you just don't realise the reach you actually have.
And I think people are actually quite glad that we put ourselves out there to try and fly the flag for farming. It's not an easy thing to do all the time, and talking in, to people in that we made it a bit interactive. People maybe don't have the time or the inclination to put themselves out there on social media, so it's kind of up to us, and we have to take the reins.
Showing it from two different perspectives.
Absolutely.
As well.
We've also been given an amazing tour of the livestock lines and also the young farmers area as well. Didn't even know it existed, but down here they have school young farmers clubs, so it's almost run like an after school club. It's a whole tent dedicated to young farmers and them showing their livestock, which was just fantastic, and I was so impressed with how the livestock looked. In terms of the main livestock section, it's amazing. The stock looks really, really well. They've got, I think, 700-800 sheep entries, which they're really pleased with. Down here, obviously, we are, well, big fruit growing area really, not as many livestock, so I think they're really pleased with the entries, and they just keep trying to increase them on the livestock side. I think every time I come to agricultural shows, I'm blown away by children and people seeing animals and livestock up close for the first time. A lot of people aren't lucky enough to get access to farms and be close to that kind of agricultural element, so it's amazing to see children seeing animals, children showing animals as well. Back from the Kent show last night, it was actually a 7-hour drive. It was absolutely hideous, but a really good day at the show, and so glad we made the effort to go down there. I am at the farm now. I've done an Airbnb changeover this morning, probably the quickest one we've ever done, but the guests had left it immaculately. Now getting ready for the dippers to come to the sheep. I don't know if you can see, but it is raining and we've had a massive couple of downpours. We brought the sheep in luckily before the rain. If you dip them when their fleeces are wet, obviously it just dilutes the dip, it doesn't really do anything. And if they get wet afterwards, again, just kind of washing the dip off. So it's important to keep them dry before and after, and well, to make the best of the dip, otherwise there's no point doing it. As I said, we're keeping the sheep inside and we've got ewes all in here, lambs in here with the teaser tup George there, and just another ewe to keep him company, and then the 2 tups in there. Obviously they haven't been in here for very long, so it doesn't matter that they look a bit tight for space. They've all had water, we've just taken the water buckets out because we're about to start moving them across to the lambing shed. The lambing shed is big enough to put the dipping wagon in, so we can keep it all under cover, and as I mentioned, make sure that the dip is as effective as possible. Ewes are all in, ready, and they'll head into this little pen there just to push them up the ramp. And to there. Here we are, everyone dipped. We've just got them separated off still at the moment, just waiting for them to dry off a bit more, make sure we know it's not going to rain. So we've got ewes and lambs in here. We've got George the teaser tup and Dino, my pet weather, in that pen, and then in this pen we've got the 2 Beltex tups. So, and now the lads are clearing all their stuff up, and then the most important part, bacon sandwiches for everyone. It's a bit like shearing, where it's really important to look after your shearers. It's also important to look after whoever comes to dip your sheep. Again, they're doing a crucial job for us. And this rainy weather behind me now, not that you can really see, is the reason that these sheep are still just inside. I've put a bucket of water in with all of them, so if they're staying in here longer than the next 10-20 minutes or so, they've got a drink if they need it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure they won't even touch the water, they don't usually, but they're covered if we need it. The day after dipping, and the shed is officially pressure washed out. I can't take full credit for it actually though. My mum has done the majority of this washing out, and I've just come and kind of finished it off, so done the most satisfying bit. Next thing that I want to be doing is washing off the handling system. You can see the ones at the top where I've had a go at them, the ones at the bottom where I haven't, but I think what I might do is just soak them for a bit, leave it, soak them again, just to try and do a bit of a better job, but they certainly need it. The sheep ended up staying in a lot of the day actually. It was really rainy, and as I mentioned, it just wouldn't be worth kind of diluting the dip and washing it all off in the rain, and we had some really heavy rain as well, so it's not just like it was a shower here or there, so we were lucky to have this to keep them inside. When this video goes out, I will be, if it all goes out on time, I will be at the Great Yorkshire Show. If you're there and you see me, do say hi. I don't know if I'll get a video out next week. I'm having 4 full days at the show, so with me being there for 4 days, we'll see what happens. This morning I am doing a turnaround in the Airbnb. We have genuinely got the busiest July. It's our busiest month that we've had, which is amazing, but it's also tying in with things like the Yorkshire show, so we're away that week, and yeah, potentially harvest as well, but it's all good. One thing I wanted to show you is these wildflowers behind me. The guests always comment on these and they absolutely love them. Obviously at the moment they are looking their best. I'm not sure if you can hear it in the video, but the buzzing behind me is unbelievable, and some of them are bees, some of them are, I don't know what they are, some other fly type thing, but all pollinators and all just absolutely loving it. And there's little Ralph waiting for me. God forbid that I'd gone outside of the garden and left him, but I'll just show you some of these. They are just absolutely buzzing with things. There we have Bumblebee as well, he's just flown off. The other bits of the garden, the flowers have mostly ended unfortunately, but the guests are still loving sitting outside here. It's so peaceful in the village. You can always hear the birds, which is lovely. We do still have a few flowers out here and there. And then we have this seating area just at the top of the garden. This morning is a morning of errands. I've just dropped a tyre off which has a slow puncture, and then picking up some dog food, and also going to take our moisture meters. So we have this one and we also have this one to be calibrated. Now a moisture meter tests the moisture of whatever grain or crop we're looking to cut. So wheat, barley, oilseed rape, peas, but they also do, we don't grow any beans this year, but beans, oats, basically you name it, and they test the moisture. That means that we then basically know whether we can go and combine the crop or not. Every year we get them calibrated to make sure that they're testing as accurately as possible, so that we're not cutting things which are too damp to go in with the combine. But hopefully as we get into harvest, I'll be showing you videos of actually how the moisture meter works and what we do. That's it from me this week. If you enjoyed the episode, please do like and subscribe to my channel.